Welcome back to the Kyle Petty Show. I am super excited to bring this podcast back and with one of my old school besties, TANEISHA Corbin, who is currently starring as Mrs. Lovett in CAP Merrick's production of Sweeney Todd, running until October 12th. So one more weekend left, which I did not realize until right before we decided to record. I thought
Uh-huh.
we had 2 weekends left. Made a liar out of me. So thank you for joining us today. How was your day?
It was so good, work, loving everything, little
Hmm.
kiddos, 'cause I'm a preschool teacher by day, theater actor by night. So we just have a grand old time.
I don't know where you get the energy to do any of that. If I
I
was
don't,
dealing with kids all day long, I don't think I'd be doing anything but being horizontal at the end of the night.
it
Uh,
is called Red Bull and lots of it,
mm. Well, tell
you
us some
know.
other things about Tanisha. What do you like to do? Who are you? What are you about?
Um, well, I am a really honestly crazy person, and to know me is to love me because I'm gonna walk in and it's gonna look like I hate everybody, but I don't. It's just I have there's a lot of heart in there. There's a lot
Of
of heart
course.
in there, but you can't let them see it 'cause then you use it the wrong way. So,
You say
um,
that, but everyone
you
knows
know,
it, though. You say that.
yes, but everybody you can't realize how accessible that heart is, you know?
I know we
You
got to
gotta
put some
you
boundaries
gotta
up.
think
We
you
got to
gotta
put some
jump over
boundaries
some
up.
hoops to get to it, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. This is we
Yeah,
don't
you
we
gotta
don't
jump
just give it away for
over some
free, right?
hoops. I love being around people and I love people that give back to me. Like not in like a, whatever, but I feel if we have an exchange of energy, I love that.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
as long as it's not a
absolutely.
bad energy. I
Right. It
want
needs
to
to be
protect my
genuine, it needs to be
peace.
warm, and it needs to be, yeah. It needs to be
Right.
wholesome. Something real.
Right.
I like it. So listen, you have a lot of stuff going on, right? Because you don't just play on
Yeah.
stage, right? You do a lot of different things. So tell us a little bit about some of the projects you're working on right now.
So right now I'm in Sweeney Todd as Mrs. Lovett, finishing
Hmm.
up our final weekend. After that, next weekend, the weekend after that, We Will Rock You at CAP Merrick. And
Next
I'm playing
weekend right
Killer
after.
Queen in that right
Okay.
after, immediately right after. And then after that, I am directing Once on This Island at CAP Merrick. So I'm
Busy,
very excited
busy.
about that.
Yeah. When does Once on this
Busy,
island
busy.
open?
We open November 15th until December 7th.
Ooh.
And I did not get to pick dates, but it worked out so nicely because this is my absolute favorite show. And you know how like sometimes the universe works in a crazy way. I wanted to do this for a long
Hmm.
time. It closes on my birthday. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, that was meant to be.
yep.
Like one
That
of those
was your sign. That was your
it's
sign.
really
Hmm.
it's one of those things that you know, right. Right. So I just finished casting the show yesterday. We are gonna have our first rehearsal tomorrow, and I'm so excited
Exciting.
about it.
That's something I
Yeah.
really need to make sure I make my way all the way out to Merrick for, because I have
Yes.
I'm gonna get my black card revoked, right? But I've actually never. I'm not gonna say I've never seen Once on This Island. I saw it years ago in like a high school production, and I wasn't 100% sure like what was really going on. Like I was really just there because I had a crush on like a guy that was like in it. So like I don't really know. I couldn't tell you much
Your
about the
the
show. I know
black
something
card
about.
is the tough.
I know. I never really had a firm grasp on it to begin with. If we're gonna go there.
Mm-mm. Uh-uh.
But I know there's a character named Tamoon.
Yep.
And that's about all I know. I assume an island is involved. But past
I'm so
that,
proud of you.
thank you, thank you. I good. I'm really good with context clues. If you haven't catched
No, I'm
that,
so proud of you.
thanks, thanks. So before we get to Sweeney Todd, because that's something else that's not frequently done on Long Island, right? So we definitely want to talk
Right.
about that. But now, for my own personal interest, like, tell me something about Once on This Island. Obviously, no spoilers, but like, what's the foundation here?
Once on This Island, it's obviously set on an island, but it's this beautiful story of just love and trust and just basically all the key components of like the of life.
Mm,
Unfortunately, it's set on the island, and I believe that it's talking about the Dominican Republic, so there's a lot of light against dark,
mm.
complexion comes in, and the darker people are the peasants, the lighter people are the elite, and it's just a beautiful love story. It kind of reminds me of Hercules, but it's
Okay.
actually based on the Grimm's brothers' Little Mermaid, which is crazy.
Really?
But
I
it's
didn't even know there was another
yeah.
Little Mermaid. There's another Little
Well, it was
Mermaid
like
other than the
fictional.
one that we know of with the red hair.
Yeah. So the Grimm's brothers had like all these crazy stories, like all of like
Like
the
Grimm's fairy
the fairy
tales
tales
and
that we know
such. Mhm.
now. Right. But they're so much darker than what we know them as. And they're like a little bit more realistic, kind of they're so good.
I kinda
And the
knew about that
music
because there was a
is
show years ago called Grimm or something like that, right? That kinda
yes.
like
Yeah.
yeah, that was supposedly that was the concept behind it, but I didn't watch that either, so
It's really good.
okay.
Listen, you win some, you lose some. Huh.
You put me onto some stuff. You put me onto some stuff. Um, but now you're moving into closing weekend of Sweeney Todd, right? So tell us a little bit about what that show is about.
Sweeney Todd is honestly, it is a kooky show. It's not your typical Sondheim. I'm not a big Sondheim fan. Everybody can like flame me in the comments. It's okay. I am a okay with that. Um, I am not a Sondheim fan. Never will be. I yeah, it's just I always make the joke that I'm not smart enough to understand Sondheim, and I'm okay with that. So I didn't really
Don't like that
enter
that's the
Sweeney.
reason that you're using, but all right.
Whatever. But I really didn't enter Sweeney. Like I knew that I wanted to do it, and I was excited about Mrs. Lovett. I heard like a couple of her songs, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Um,
Mm,
did I have a firm grasp on the show? Absolutely not. Did they tell me? Did I get thrown into that? Absolutely. But I think that it was such a great experience because I didn't come in with like a preconceived idea about what it should be.
mm,
I kind of heard a couple of the songs, read the music. Tony as a director is really good because he'll just let you play with a lot.
mhm,
So he will like, okay, feel it. I'm going to give you these outlines and go have fun.
right.
And, through the character development, I was able to make Mrs. Lovett into like this crazy kooky person. And I'm having the best time with her. I did not expect to like love her like I did because I assumed it was going to be Sondheim. I've done a couple, Sunday in the Park, and I'm like, they're beautiful pieces, but they're nothing that leaves an imprint. And
Mm,
then the weeks that I've gotten to play her, I'm like, wow, I really wish this was an extended run. Wow, I really wish I could do more as her. Like, I'm
mm.
having the best time with her.
I love hearing that because that was actually the next question. I wanted to know a little bit about what intrigued you about that role. But obviously, it sounds like you kind of pushed into it a little bit more than you chose it. But I'm glad that it was a rewarding experience for you. Like, what do you think? What do you think is the most rewarding thing about playing this role? What have you gotten from it?
Um, I think it's just the confidence, you know? Um, it wasn't that I was pushed into it as much as though it was like I auditioned and I wanted it, but I did say, "Hey, you never mind. I don't want to do this anymore because you listen." Up. And I was like, "I can never do this. I can never learn this whole show in that amount of time." So it was like a push, but it was like, you can do this, so stop it.
Mm,
And so I'm happy that I got to do that. So I think the most rewarding thing about it is like because I already told myself no, that I'm able to do it and actually
mm.
get like a good review, like the crowds are responding well to it. It's like I have a good time out there. I think the hardest part about it was finding those moments.
Yeah.
There's little moments in, like, in the songs and like just standing on stage where you can take it two ways. Like you could just be dreary and dark about it, or you can be kooky crazy, and you have to just figure out where you want to go with it,
You have
you
to
know?
decide what kind of Mrs. Lovett you want to be. I like that.
That one, that part, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
always pick crazy. I'm gonna always pick crazy.
yeah, I like that. So I thought the way you were kind of setting this up was that maybe like Tony, because we know Tony. Tony would like, no, this is what I think you should do. This is what you're doing, and that's the end of it. So no, you auditioned, and then you started to backtrack. Um,
Right.
what made you change course there?
I'm gonna be so honest with you. Don Dowdell called me
Hmm.
and he was like, "Stop playing." He goes, "Can you just do it?" He's like, "Stop." He's like, "Why are you why are
And you
you
just
doing this
said
to yourself?"
okay.
And I was like, "But I can't." No, no. As soon as Don got on my phone, he's like, "Hey, can you?" Yes, I will. No, no
Mm,
questions asked. He's such a beautiful person, like, just like
yeah.
a great light. So, like, to be able to share the stage with him, I'm like, absolutely. You ask me, I'll do it.
Oh, I love that. Um, so what have you found to be the most challenging thing about taking this role on?
There is one scene. There is one scene, baby. I can't get that thing in my head if I tried. And I want you to know every show, it's a spoiler. I go out there with my little basket and my knitting, and my phone is right in that basket. And my nifty ditty script is sitting
Stop.
right there as I go. I swear to God. And it's the easiest scene ever. But it's just like a bunch of interjections, and I can't remember what goes where, when goes where. And the first day that I did it, they looked at me and said, and I said, "I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll learn it. I promise. I will not be embarrassed. No, thank you. No,
Mm-mm.
ma'am. Mm-mm."
God, you know what that brings me
So
back
we
to?
had
That
it.
brings me back to YPT
Please.
Parade, coming out as Newt Lee.
Oh,
My
in the
word,
car.
in the car. Turn on that just
I'm trying to remember. And
um,
when I wasn't in there that one day, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember.
and just keep rocking back and forth. Like somebody just close the damn curtains. I don't know. Somebody help
Oh my God.
me.
Yeah, that was so
Yeah.
good. You know what? Talking about YPT Parade, you know, I'm mad about it still because the video of Rumbling and Rolling is still up on YouTube. And the only comment underneath there is somebody talking about the incontinuity of it because I put the iron on and laid it down.
I
It is
forgot
a
that.
heavy metal iron and it would not stand up. So yes, I put it face down and they said that she would have burned the clothes if
Listen, at that point, we had bigger fish to fry. All right, we weren't worried about them clothes. All right,
hello.
there were literally people
Hello.
swinging in trees. We don't have time for all
You
that.
put
I
my
can't be
lies
worried
out
about the
there.
part. All
You
right,
think I'm
there's a
worried
rumbling
about some
in
cottons and linens? Out of your mind.
England. So oh my gosh, there's so many things in that parade. I'm sure I'm
Oh,
sure we are gonna get to a lot of it. I'm sure. Oh my gosh, yes. So many good times. So many good times over there. Um speaking of good times, I'm glad that Sweeney Todd has been a rewarding experience for you. I hope that you certainly like you found some more confidence in yourself because you deserve all of it. But
thank you.
when you think back to a lot of the things that you did in theater before, like what would you say was like your favorite theater experience? Like what has really given you the most?
Oh, there's there's a few different ones that like immediately come to mind. Recently, I was able to play Sarah in Ragtime,
Mm,
and I think that is always a pivotal time because no matter what, there's it's always resonating with what's going on in, society today.
yeah.
Like that story never goes away. There's
Mhm,
always some, connection that you can make, and it's until we reach that day is always hitting home. Make them hear you always drives it home, and that show is always such like it's a love for me because it's one of those emotional shows. Um, but also Sarah is like a dream role out of dream roles. So to be able to do that, I was grateful for.
mm,
Um, and then I recently did Next to Normal 2 summers ago, and I was able to play Diana. And
mm,
we did it a little bit, differently. We had an all black cast. Um, and there's just so many different ways um that we process grief differently. And it's not
mm.
about a black or white thing or anything like that, but there's a way
People
that
thing.
right. So there's a way that we can look at each other and see grief where somebody else might look at me and see anger, but you don't know that. You know,
Mhm,
you having the shared experience of the culture helps with understanding how we understand our emotions and work through them. So being able to do that with the black cast, we did it. Unfortunately, we broke it up as the white cast and a black cast. Sounds very segregated. I know. I'm sorry, but it was crazy because you saw the different dynamics.
right,
There's just
right.
certain roles that
Uh-uh. But I think what we were talking about at that point was the difference between having a white and black cast and why it actually isn't as bad as it might sound like on paper. Yeah.
it right on paper it sounds very segregated, it's awful,
Yes.
but in it we rehearsed a lot together, and you
Mhm.
would see how differently I process things as opposed to the other Diana that processed things. But even in that, it was the the roles that we assumed in the family, which is
Yeah.
crazy. um the
Because
other
there definitely are cultural differences in that. Um,
correct.
yeah, and how we
so
see our
so
roles in the family. Yeah.
Right. So the
Mhm.
the the father in the White Cast was the always like stoic, angry type of thing. Like he had a very different reaction, where Shiloh was more of, I'm gonna let my woman lead, like that
Mm,
maternal mother of the house type of situation, which we always know. My grandmother, my mother, they ran the house. Like, of course, there's men there, but like that love is what blossoms the family,
mm.
and that's what kind of branches everything off, which was really really cool to see. And even the talk about like medication and therapy, there was a whole discussion about that because in the black community sometimes that's frowned upon or just
Yes.
overcast
Mhm.
and not
Or
talked
we
about.
just don't discuss it, right, yeah. Even if
So
people are
there
going through it, we're not gonna have a
right,
conversation about it. Mhm,
right, oh,
mhm.
she got stuff going on in her head, just
She
leave her
fine, she
alone.
fine, just keep her
She's
prayed up.
fine. She
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so there was that whole, I have to save face for my children. I have to save face for this therapy. I don't know about that. You're gonna make me crazy. You're gonna make me look like I'm crazy. Blah blah blah. And
Mm.
it was such a great dynamic to work through.
I
Also as a
love
personal
that.
experience, also as a personal experience, I had lost my brother a few years ago, you know? So when I was looking back at pictures, and this is crazy to say, but like the photos like that we got from the run throughs, I was seeing my mom in it, like my mom
Mm.
grieving. And I saw how she grieved. And then she came to see the show and she was like inconsolable, and she was like, wow, this is how I felt for the last 7 years. And then we were able to open a discussion with my siblings and like my family and like work through it again. Like we definitely
Mm,
worked through it together at first, but it was like,
yeah,
okay, get it together,
different
be a
now.
family, be a unit. And then like we were able to work through it deeper. We were older, we had grieved a little bit more, but we didn't fully grieve and things like that. So we were able to reopen those wounds and talk about it in a
Ooh.
healthy.
Yeah, that
And
just
now,
gave me a chill. Yeah,
yeah,
because, it's interesting to see, oh my gosh, there's so many layers to that, right?
right,
Because there definitely is a different way that, culturally we handle the processing of grief,
right,
right? And especially just knowing how we are as Black people and how unfortunately we are not as upfront with our emotions with our family as we really should be. How powerful that you can discuss. Mm, how oh, I got another chill. How
right,
powerful it is that you can discuss that in a theater setting away from your family and discuss those differences in such a safe space where all those opinions are respected and people acknowledge it for what it is, right?
right,
And then be able to present that to your family, and it gives you another way to reopen that conversation, because so many years later that's not necessarily something that we would proactively revisit, right? We would
right,
need
because
something to kind of spur that along. And it's
right,
amazing that, like, that's what theater gives us, right? It's not just about, what it gives the person that is on stage, it's the people around it and the effect that it can have. That is so powerful.
right, because you're always sitting there, you're always worried, I don't want to hurt them again. I don't
Mhm,
know where they're gonna go. Last time they were really sad and they were in a dark space, but I don't know how to get them out of it this time.
mhm,
But
mhm,
now now you use the theater as an avenue. You created this like bubble kind of where everybody's sitting in the theater crying, sobbing, and then now you have a healthy discussion. And what we did after them, we did have discussions. We came back out
mhm,
as a cast. The audience would still be there.
mhm.
We would sit down and we would have discussions with the audience to talk about, okay, how did you process this? How did you guys get into this? And like,
Mhm.
how were you able to do this? And people gave feedback. We got this beautiful letter from this woman who was like, and it was crazy because it was this white woman, and it was basically saying how her mother was Diana, how she had been
Mm.
bipolar, schizophrenic, and all this other stuff, and how she felt unseen as a child and how she lived her entire life like that. And she goes, to be able to come to a community theater and see my life on display is
Ooh.
crazy,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm.
And I literally printed that out because I was like, I've never, like, that's one of the things that I hold dear to me all the time.
Sure it is.
And it's
Mhm,
just because you're able to reach so many people and you don't even realize the things that people are going through, you
mhm.
know? You would see her on the street, you would never know that she had that kind of parent or that kind of life. So it was just like being able to touch people in that completely different way. We don't have to go like, unlike ragtime, we don't have to put on display the, you know, inconsistencies of the world and make it a race thing, even though we kind of did, but we were able to work through grief and touch everybody.
Yeah, and that is it's also so important. That's why, like, Black stories need to be told, even if it's not a specifically
Specific
Black
Black story.
story, right? It's how we all process things and how we are, because there are cultural differences. Um, I love that. I had no idea that our conversation would ever go that way. I just thought we were gonna have a couple of chuckles and we get out of here,
Listen,
like, but that is but, like,
listen,
that is really, really fantastic, and I'm so grateful you shared that. Like, that's wonderful. It's such an important conversation to have because it's not just see, when we see, like, we don't see people that are like us. It's not just about seeing a brown person on TV or seeing a
right,
brown person on stage. It's about, I don't see us, and
right.
just who we are as people and the differences. And it's not something that should be viewed as like a bad thing. I think sometimes people take it as like, oh my gosh, like, you want to erase like one thing or the other, and like you want it to be. No, it's not about that. It's about
There's just so many different dimensions.
right, right.
And there's just different ways, and like I love the story, but like connecting to it on a different level brings something totally different to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, and now on a lighter note, share with us, one of your favorite or like funniest like on stage moments. Like what still makes you crack up anytime you think about it, other than Words in a Cup with Newt Lee?
Listen, okay, I'm gonna tell you, and I think that you might have been the one that did this. Um,
Oh. Oh no.
if you didn't do it, you were definitely in the audience. And I will never forget. And it is one of the most embarrassing stories, and it is one of the funniest stories. And it was literally, I was in, what was it, Rocky Horror,
Hmm.
and I was playing Dr. Eddie, Mr. Scott. I came out in the damn wheelchair, but I knew absolutely zero of my lines. I had a fucking oops, I had a bleeping composition notebook in the
Stop.
wheelchair next to me, trying to read off my lines. And, and I really think it was you, but I don't know. It was somebody that you were with, but all of a sudden it was learn your damn lines and get off the stage. And
I
I
don't remember
kind
this at all. I don't remember
yes,
that.
and
Oh
I
no.
kindly rolled myself off that daggone stage and said, "I need to learn these lines." Now, shame on me. Like, where did I think that I was going? Everybody was like, "Oh, it's Rocky Horror. You don't have to put much effort into it." So I put
Oh boy.
zero effort into it. Wrong.
Right, because the diehards are coming and they know them. They know them.
Right. And I was really led astray by that. And I will never forget those people that told me not to stress about it because now I stress all the time. Thank you for my anxiety.
Like,
My
damn you
Lexapro
all.
thanks you dearly.
I thought one of the stories that we might hear was going to be, I don't know what production it was, but it's you hear a rumbling and a rolling. It's coming down from the no, I can't.
No.
No, I can't even do it because it was so off key. I can't even. I can't. It's so hard to like to reenact. And that's what I was expecting to hear. It's like, oh,
That was so far ago. The rumbling and the rolling is coming down from the
the
north.
no. And I was like, I can't even. I was thinking about this all week. I was like, how can I recreate this? I was like, I don't even. It was just so flat
That
that like I can't even. I
And it's so
can't even
funny because
bring it
every single time that I hear that song, I immediately think about that, but I don't even have the access to, like, I think I was so traumatized from, like, laughing on stage with you that I completely
out.
blocked it out, but that note is still there.
Yes.
Mm,
It's there. It,
oh
it, it lives there,
my
but
god.
it's so hard to get out. I'm telling you, so many crazy things always happen. Doesn't matter what production of Parade it is. It's always something messy.
Every single time.
Because I also remember there's that scene that everything that ever happened to be bad in Parade happened when I was Newt. Right, I never should have been Newt Lee,
Never
But I remember that it was like, is it the number with Leo and Lucille? It's not over yet. Where like Newt
Yes.
is talking to Mr.
Oh
Man
my god.
about like what's going on. Do you remember this happened in Cap Plainview? And when I was standing there, and like I don't even know who was playing the governor or the mayor or whatever it was, but like had asked me something, and I just stood there and I could not.
Just said
I just went. I just walked.
and just walked off the stage,
I
and I
just
said,
walked
"Oh,
out. And it was so bad because it was one of those moments that like there's this underscoring you can't be taking that long, and that's why I panicked. Excuse me. Because I just knew I was like, Kyle, you're wasting too much time. You got to get out of here. You got to get out of here.
oh
And then it got
my
to a point in the
god.
music where it's like, I just have to just leave. I just have to leave.
I
Forget
just
it.
gotta
It's
go.
not that
Gotta
important.
go."
So there. Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god, that
Ah,
was
so
so
yeah.
funny.
Oh gosh, I'm telling you,
Oh
parade
god.
always gave us like the best memories. Like, I mean,
No,
that's
my
really
favorite also from that parade was when we had to do the chain gang, but they left an inch and a half behind the psych for us to get through. And we would be pressed against the wall trying to get through. And we'd be like, this is abuse of some kind. This is absolutely abuse of some kind.
Mhm. Terrible, terrible, but I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
oh my gosh, all those little things are just the absolute best. They are the best.
oh my
So
god.
many good times. So what's
Whew.
next for Tanisha? I think we kind of know, right? You've got closing weekend. I'm looking at a calendar off
Yes,
camera here. So we got closing weekend for you. What performances are you doing? Because I know that Sweeney Todd, I know you're double cast, right, with
I
Allison.
am.
Um,
And I am only my last show is on Saturday. That's my only show this weekend.
Saturday the 11th. Okay, that's it. It's at 8 p.m. 8
8 PM.
boom. All right, so you can catch her in Cap at Cap Merrick in that one. Then We Will Rock You opens the week after. You double cast in that one?
Nope, single cast, and God help
Ooh,
them.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. Screen here. And then right after that, Once on This Island. You
Yes,
said that opens November 15th?
correct.
Ooh, look at me. Look at me.
I
Sharp.
know. I'm so proud of
Sharp. Okay. You can't tell me nothing. Excellent. Excellent. So anybody who's not familiar, where can they find you on the socials to keep up with your projects?
you. You can find me on Instagram, TEE_ELLE_CEE. It's my little Elwoods moment because
Mm,
whatever. But you can find me
sweet.
there. I'm not really active, but like I try to post something all the time. But
You
I'm
be
a
around, you be
millennial.
around. You at least share what projects you're doing. At least share those things.
Yes,
Like, that's
yes.
about it. As we get older, we don't be using the social media like we used
I
to. If we have to
I
be
can't.
honest,
I
yeah.
can't. With the snappy chatty and all that other stuff. No thanks. No
Oh,
thanks.
please. I don't even remember my password for Snapchat. There could be a million snaps just sitting there. I would know nothing about it. Not at
Snapchat
all.
is that's for when you want to. No, thank you.
Yep. No,
I'll
thanks.
just
Because whatever is there is usually unsavory. That's not really what
unsavory,
I'm looking for anymore these days.
undesirable. Right,
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm 40 years old. We're trying to class up. We're trying to class
Get
up.
it. Higher level, higher level.
Yes.
Now I have to bring back something for you, and
What
this
is
is not
that?
a theater moment.
Uh oh.
Do you remember the first time we went to a concert? The
What
Joss
was it?
Stone out of
Oh,
all
just
concerts,
stone.
and I had an absolute meltdown in the pit, and they made the hashtag protect Tanisha or
Yes.
something because I had the chaos that I went through at a Joss Stone concert.
Hmm. Which is also so wild because, like, we have definitely been to crazier concerts than that. Like, yeah, Joss Stone was supposed to be like the most chill time, and there was a lot of ruckus
There
going
was
on. I just remember
so
a lot
much
of people
going
pushing
on.
and people were yelling and stuff. I was like, this is not how we act at Joss Stone. All right,
I
class
said, "Oh,
up.
no.
Yeah.
Justin, what are you doing? What kind of people do you play to? Oh my god."
Seriously, seriously. Yeah, who else did we see? Like, we also saw Keisha Cole, which
Yes, we saw
that is
Fantasia.
really where we saw Fantasia. We also
We
saw
saw
Tony
Fantasia and
Braxton.
was ready to take our shoes off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we
Mhm.
saw Tony at Westbury.
We sure did.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was a great
That
night.
was
That was a really
good.
great night. Yeah. You would have thought that the ruckus would have been at Keisha Cole, right? Of all the ones that we went to,
Of
that
all the ones, you thought that it would have been her.
yeah,
No.
Fantasia is only a step above that though in terms of the ruckus. Because
No,
my
right.
mom is way too honest when she goes to these concerts, right? My mother loves to like boo people, and like I keep telling her, like you don't boo when you go to these things. You don't do anything, right? So I took her to see Alicia Keys twice, right? The first time it was at Radio City, and Glenn Lewis opened for her. You remember Glenn Lewis? Yes. We're sitting there and like, I don't know, like row 12, like we're really not that far back. Glenn Lewis is singing, she's like, boo! boo. I'm like, mommy, no, you don't do that. You don't boo people. She's like, well, I don't like it. I was like, you don't boo though. You just be quiet. You don't have to say anything. Right? Just sit there. Just sit there. So then the next time I took her to Alicia Keys, it was at Jones Beach, and
Uh-huh.
Music Soul Child opened for her. And she was
That's
like,
a great one.
boo. I'm like, mommy, who boos Music?
I was getting
Like,
ready
the
to
man's name
say.
is Music. Don't boo him. Like, boo. Right? So then I'm gonna bring this all full circle. So then we see Fantasia, right? And Candy opened for her, right? And like my mother
No.
was like, but everyone was going crazy for Candy, right? And this was not at like a regular venue. Like this is at one of those oh my gosh. It was a theater, but like it was in a different side of town. Like this is like an hour and a half away from her in North Carolina. It was a different world. And my mother was like, listen, I would like to boo this young lady, but I'm not going to because I'm looking around. These people really like her, and I'm scared I'm going to get stomped out. I said, yes, you will. I said,
As long as she
shh.
learns,
I said, you
as long as
absolutely
she learns,
will.
she can't
Not
win.
here. Not here. You can't do that.
And
Just
not
not
at
the win.
Fantasia. No, they already came ready to take their shoes off.
They
No,
sure
thank
did.
you.
They sure as a different breed of folk. Fantasia versus Alicia Keys. Oh no, there'll be no booing here. Just
No.
but she loves Fantasia. It was Candy that she didn't
It
like.
was Candy, but
Hmm.
still, she said,
Still.
"Boo."
Boo! Tell you that
That
mommy's
is
crazy. Not
out of
crazy.
control.
Yeah.
That is so
Mhm.
funny.
Mhm. My God. But
Mm-mm.
I know you do have rehearsal tonight, so I want to thank you. I thank you deeply for being the
Oh, I love
first
you.
guest bringing this back. I haven't done one of these in almost a year because I got so waylaid and sidetracked by other projects and things. So I'm really happy to be doing this again. I'm happy that you were the first one to come back. So thank you. Thank you for spending
Yay!
the
I love
time
you
with
so
me.
much. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that you
Yes.
asked me to do this.
Of course, it
Mm.
felt like a no-brainer to me. It felt like a no-brainer. It
Oh,
was totally,
stop
totally appropriate. Ah,
it.
thank you. Mwah.
Alrighty, my love. Mwah.